Alright, I'm Luno, and if you guys seen my other videos, I'm just starting out on YouTube. I'm trying to make a couple, so here's another style. I did a PvP, and I just did one to check my quality, and this one's like a how-to. I'm a destruction lock. I've got a pretty basic spec. I got it with one of my friends who's in the guild that hits a lot harder than me. Oh, and a little disclaimer, I don't hit incredibly hard. I'm not meant to hit incredibly hard. As you can see, my item level is only 211, and that includes some PvP, so, like, I'm not that great. This is just a basic video, so take from it what you want and all that. You can copy my spec. I'll have the Armory link in the sidebar. The one thing I do suggest is suppression if you don't have a high hit. I'm pretty sure that I am maxed out in hit right now. Yeah, I've got around 14.7. That's a little excessive. But I use an imp because of the one spec in destruction. There is improved imp. Every time he crits, your next spell is an automatic crit. I use the Firestone and automatically get blood pack, and then I also use fell armor. What I recommend is if you're not the only lock in a raid, generally me being the lowest spell power oriented lock in our guild on 25 mans, I'll use Curse of Elements. If not, if you have someone else using Curse of Elements, then you can go ahead and use Curse of Doom. It does more damage and it helps you out in the long run. So generally my cycle is Curse of Elements, and then I'll use Immolate, Chaos Bolt, and Conflag. And Chaos Bolt and Conflag I always use when the cooldowns are up, and hopefully time it very well. And then I use Incinerate until those cooldowns are up. Incinerate hits a ton harder if you have Immolate up. And I generally don't use any dots really. I find it using a lot of mana and stuff like that, so it's one of those like if I need to boost it a tiny bit, I'd suppose, but it chews through a lot more mana. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to semi-imp, and then I'm going to cast Immolate. And I don't have any trinkets that I'd use, so that means that mine are auto, like, cast themselves. So you'll see me, and you'll probably see those buffs every now and then. Alright, I had to cut the video in two because this log came along, and now we're going to compare. He got 3.5 on it, and he was doing a couple things different than me. And as you can see, he invited me to group probably to see what numbers I can hit. So hopefully I show him up. So I'm going to go ahead and put my curse on, and then my imp's going to auto attack. Remember, I don't have trinkets, so I'm not going to have to do anything. And instead of what the other guy did is just use his mana once and then not life tap, I'm going to keep life tapping until I feel like I'm at a comfortable number. And as you can see, I'm trying to use my cooldowns as soon as they go up. Right there, I made a small mistake by not using my Immolate, so that's going to cost me a little bit. That's mainly what the destruction spec works on. If your Immolate doesn't stay up for long enough, then that could cause problems. But generally, if you have another lock in the raid, you don't need to worry about it, as long as he's destruction, because then he'll keep it up and you don't really need to worry about it, but it's always helpful. 10 mans also, that it's always helpful to have. As you can see, my mana is starting to get a little bit lower, but I think I'm doing fine. The other lock is way more geared than I am, sadly enough, and I am currently doing 3.2k, so I'm pretty impressed with myself. I'll show you a little gear comparison here in a second. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see it though, so. And I'm going to pull my imp off here in a little second because I'm almost out. First video where I actually tried and talk and DPS at the same time. It's pretty weird. But, yeah. So, this guy's name is Tovenaar, and he's from a pretty good guild on our server, which is Dentarg US. And I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison. I forget exactly what he said his average item level was. I think it was around 225, and he's full PvE gear. I'm around 211 with a couple pieces of like Furious and Deadly, so I'm going to let you guys decide if the DPS bonus he got was compared to gear or what. Also, the heroic training dummy, I don't really like the numbers because I always found I hit a lot harder on like just heroic bosses and stuff like that. And I think that Blizzard made it so it was more of a really tough boss and had a lot of resistances or something like that. And I'm going to show you guys the table, which Recount has a nice thing of. Um, Surprisingly, my top ability was Incinerate with over half my damage, followed by Conflag, Chaos Bolt, and then Immolate's Dot, and then Immolate itself. So, if you add Immolate and its Dot up together, it actually did almost as much as my Conflag, and it actually did more than my Chaos Bolt, so that is a major spell. But it's just the Incinerate spam that really does it. And any questions, anything you think I should have said that I didn't, you guys can just post in the comments. I'll be monitoring this kind of stuff. And hope you guys enjoyed it. It was my first video, so go ahead and tell me what I could have done worse or better. And thanks for watching. Subscribe if you guys would like to see more videos like this. Comment, you know. I've said pretty much everything twice about now, so I think it's going to be over.